It's pouring time, baby. So today I'm removing the valves in the head in order to, in the future, lap the valves in the seat together so it seals better, and also to widen up the ports inside there and just make it flow better, because that's like the major thing that holds these engines back is the cylinder head and the flow. So as you can see, I've already taken 4 of the valves out to make sure I know how to do it, and yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I went out to Harbor Freight and got this valve spring compressor tool. It was like $7 on clearance. And yeah, so let me move this out the way. To take the valves out, you have to first compress the spring down. Then once you do that, get a magnet in there and get the keepers out of the center of the valve. I'll show you that when I pull it out. And then you can release the pressure on the spring and drop the valve. So something you want to do before you try and compress the valve spring is put something underneath the valve so it doesn't move down. Like here I've got a bottle cap. It just presses on the valves to keep them from going down. So do that. And another thing you can do is get a socket and a hammer. Put the socket on here and just smack it a few times. That fell out. To try and loosen up the valve spring and the valve, because they can stick. After doing all that, get your tool, and these 2 fingers are spring loaded, as you can see, and one of them is longer than the other. The longer one wants to go on the back of the spring, and the shorter one wants to go to the front if you're looking at it like this. And what you gotta do is pull these apart like that, and then try and get as far down as you can on the spring, and then just get the little fingers up underneath the spring. Like, oops, hold on, like that, and then like that, and then just screw this down so it starts compressing the spring, like so. Here, I'll show you what the fingers on the thing look like real quick. Stuck. That wasn't the smoothest, but whatever. So as you can see, the little fingers are underneath the spring. I don't know if you can see that very well. You kind of can. Right there, the fingers underneath the spring on that side and on that side, and you can see it's evenly pushing down on it. So let me get you back on here. All right, once you got that, all you gotta do is start screwing this handle down, like so. As you can see, it's already coming free. The valve's not spinning, but the spring is. So keep on turning it. And what that's doing is it's pushing the spring, like compressing it and squeezing it together so you can get the keepers out. Just keep on doing that. And now, get a magnet. Then you can just take the keepers out of it. They can be a bit stuck like this one is, but you can still get them out by wiggling them. That's what the keeper looks like. That. So yeah, you've got 2 keepers on each valve, so once you take the one out, you gotta go behind and take the other out like that. That was pretty easy. And then you can loosen up the handle, take the spring pressure off the valve, and then the valve should be able to just drop down. So do that real quick. So spring can come out, just take the spring off of it, lay it to the side. Also, there's a little valve seal that you want to take off because you can lose it. So that's what that looks like. And then you just flip the head over, pretty heavy, and the valve can just come out like so. It's that simple. So lay this back down. That's not on the cap, whatever. happened. Damn it. Whatever. Like that. And another thing is, you want to keep the valve springs and the keepers and everything with the valve because they wear together and you don't want to mix them up. So what I've got going on is got these little Ziploc bags, and I just put everything that came out of it, like the keepers and the spring and the valve, inside. Just open it up. Put the keepers inside, spring, and then and this thing, put that in the bag too. Then put the valve in wherever that went, right there. Like so. Get it at just the right angle. Like that, and then just zip it up. Oh, don't forget the valve seal. Just do that, and then zip it up. Like so. Then get it like a little Sharpie marker, a Sharpie, and just put the number that it came out of. So like you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This will be 5 because it's the 5th one from the front. So yeah, that's all there is to it to taking the valves out. So I'll do the rest of them real quick and be back. So I got some parts in. They're all in this box. Got upgrade camshaft, steel timing gears, ARP rod bolts, etc. Just the rest of it to build the engine. And so after I ported the head, which I'll show you right now, see that? They're all been ported and opened up a little bit. There used to be like a little ridge in here, but now there isn't. So what I'm doing now is putting the ARP rod bolts inside the rod. Already done this one, as you can see. Very nice. So the way I'm doing it is, put this back in here. Just taking the piston out, like that. I'm calling the engine, my bad. Setting it up in the vise with a rag clamped around the connecting rod, and then just taking the end cap off and hammering these studs through. So let me get you all set up and I'll show you what I mean. Alright, so as you can see, the end cap, that's right there, is off the connecting rod and it's all clamped up in the vise, securely-ish. And now all I'm going to do is get a little hammer like this and tap these studs through. Now you want to make sure you put the nut on here, just in case, so it doesn't screw up any of the threads. Not like it matters, it's just old studs, but it's just a good practice to do when you're hammering in bolts. So all you do is just tap it like that and then give it one quick tap. Keep on doing that until it comes out. Like that. That easy. And in the process, the rod bearing will probably pop out. That's fine because it needs to be replaced anyways. You can see the brass color in there, the copper color. That's not what you want. You want it to look kind of like this, where it's all... Actually, no, never mind, I'm stupid. You want it to look like this kind of, where it's all one color, but less scratched up. So there you go. So yeah, just tap that out, comes right out. Do the other one real quick for you. Just like that. It's that easy. And then I'll show you what I do for pushing the ARP studs in. They aren't too bad to push in, but they do take more force than like your hand or a hammer. So let me show you that. Alright, so I figured I'd actually show you what I'm doing instead of just like holding the camera and explaining it, because showing people how to do it is better than just explaining how to do it and acting like that's going to cut it. So I'll show you how I'm actually going to do it. So I'll explain this a bit more. can you see? Hold on, I need 2 hands to focus it. Alright, then you can see it. Alright, see how like one side of the head is a bit longer than the other one? It's got like a bit longer shoulder. So you want to put that on this rod on the outside, because the only way it's going to clear is if it's on the outside. So let me show you. This is what it looks like when the shoulder's on the outside. See, it's clearly going to clear. Now if I turn it around, it ain't going to clear. Just barely not going to clear. So you want to be mindful of that if you do this yourself. So make sure your stud's oriented the right way with the lip facing outside. Make sure it's as straight as you can get it with your eye. That looks pretty straight. Now what you want to do is get a socket that's going to be longer than the overall length of the stud. Make sure you can see this. You want a socket that's going to be longer than the overall length of the stud. I've already done one here. So as you can see, it does not poke out the other side, the stud. So this is the right length socket, and you want to make sure it goes in and out smoothly and doesn't catch on the inside. So once you figure that out, put the socket on the stud like that, open up your vise, try and get it in the middle of the vise if you can, and then just start clamping it down. Make sure you're doing it straight. All right, that looks good. I look like a mess, but it's fine. I messed that up. Hold on. No, I didn't. You want to make sure you get this right because it's expensive as hell. So, got that, and then just start clamping it down. See, it's going inside the rod, which is what you want. It does take quite a bit of force, so you better do it when you're feeling strong. You want to keep on doing it until you can't really go much more. And until there's not a gap in between these two. So that's pretty much it. Not too bad. But you just want to make sure you know what you're doing, because these studs are pretty expensive, and if you mess one up, you're going to hate it. So, yeah, I hope that helped out. So, yeah, on to doing the rest of them. Okay, so I'm not exactly positive where I last left off in this video. I think I was, what was I doing? Oh yeah, I think I was porting and polishing the head. So, as you can see, the head's back together now. The valves are in, the guides are in, everything. So what I ended up doing was polishing all 12 of the valves, well, the valve ports, and then I lapped the valves. I'll show you before and after picture right here. So, got that done. Got the valve springs back in place and the valves and everything back in. So this head, as far as I'm aware, is done. It's ready to go on. Now, move on to the block. You see it's upside down now, and these bearings are all old. You change those. But these cam bearings, as you can see, are brand new. There was a whole fiasco with that. Last weekend I tried knocking them in myself. I messed them up. Let me show you real quick. These were the old new bearings, and yeah, they are fucked. So did that, cost me $50 extra to get more. So then last night I took it to a machine shop to get it done properly. It cost me 30 bucks. And the camshaft slides in and out easily. So that's done. The head's done. What next? Got the crankshaft on the back of the tailgate of my truck. And what I'm going to be doing is getting some fine emery cloth, wrapping it around here, getting some string, and doing like a backyard tailgate polish on this thing. So yeah, as you can see, they're not too bad. Just got like a bit of dirt and stuff on them, but the sandpaper should get that right off. So let's get to it. All right, so what I'm doing now, sorry for the background noise, that's just Dad's doing four-wheeler shit. So what I'm doing now is getting some emery cloth like this, and I'm just polishing up the crankshaft. I've already done this one and that one, and now I'm gonna move on to this one. As you can see, it's not the greatest. Like, you can see there's like a line right here and stuff, so, oh, you can't really see it. Trust me, there's a line there. So what I'm gonna do is get some emery cloth that's like this. It's P320 grit. So get some cloth like this, get some PB Blaster WD-40, spray it all down to where it's nice and covered. Once you do that, wrap it around your bearing journal like so. Like that, and then get some shoestring or some string and wrap it around like that, and then wrap it around like that. Once you got that, pull it pretty tight and then just start going like this. It's like kind of go to the side a bit to keep it even. Oh, that fell apart. Not what you want, but it's already looking better. So then wrap it around again. Keep on hearing noises. Wrap the sandpaper around like that. Get your shoestring, pass it through like that. We have good length on the other side. Make this a bit tighter. You want to have the sandpaper pretty tight, but not too tight to where it won't rotate. So, like that. And then pass the shoestring again. If I can grab it. Almost. There we go. Try and get the shoestring in the middle of the emery cloth where it's going to slip off like it did last time. And then keep on going like that. And after you do that, take the emery cloth off, get some brake clean, spray it down, just wipe it off so you can see what you got. And looks a lot better. Now there's like a spot on the top where it didn't quite attack it since I was pulling up like that, so the top of it still got bit of marking on it. So just grab your cloth again, just kind of go like that, not too much because you don't want to get it out around. But now it's pretty nice and polished. Now if you got the money, you should go and get a machine shop to do it, because you know it's kind of janky, but it does work. So yeah, now it's nice and shiny and polished. See that? These three are polished, and then the rest of them aren't. You can probably see a difference, probably not. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'll get back to you once I'm done with that. Alright, so as you can see, I've got the crankshafts all polished up and set in the block. I've got all new lower bearings, or main bearings, installed in the block. And right now I'm currently checking the bearing clearances with some of this stuff called Plastigauge. You can pick it up at some part stores. Not all of them have it. Took me going to 4 of them to find this stuff. Anyway, all it is just a thin piece of plastic in there. You cut a little piece of that off, stick it right on the bearing long ways, stick your bearing cap on and torque it in place. Take the bearing cap off and then compare the size of the spread of it to any of these marks on here, and that'll tell you just about what your bearing clearance is. So mine is supposed to be in between 0.005 and 0.0015, which is not on here. And the ones I've checked so far have been right in the middle of 0.003 and 0.002, so they're in spec. The ones I've done so far are the first one, second one, third one, and I'm currently doing the fourth one. Got the plastic gauge in there and just ready to torque it down. So yeah, that's what I'm working on right now. I'll come back when I've got all of them checked and the caps on and all torqued down. Alright, so here's what the plastic gauge looks like after torquing down that main cap that I showed you. And so now, oh, it's in the light. How long is this? Alright, you can kind of see that now. I'm just going to compare it to the plastic gauge now, and you can't see it because it's blinding you, but from what I see, it's still in between 0.003 and 0.002. You can kind of see it if I angle it like that. See? It's just about the size of that, not quite, and it's just a bit bigger than that size, which is in between 0.003 and 0.002 inches. So that's in spec. So now we're going to do the rest of them, and then it will have a crank set in. So, be back there.